Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since we've talked. Lots going on. I think it's been something like 2 or 3 years since I posted a video, so I'm happy to be back with you guys. I'm out here in the beautiful metro parks where my misanthropic self can experience some peace and solace. And it's a good place for me to make a video. I know that this channel centers around talking about women, but I wanted to give you, and I'm going to just a brief overview of what has transpired for me the past 2 or 3 years. So 3 years ago, when I was consistently making videos, or however long it's been, maybe it was even 4, I had a lot of sexual frustration that was pretty apparent to my viewers. Although I had a lot of good points and substantively very accurate and useful information, I have really conquered my sexual frustration. I've learned how to be very attractive to women and how to be confident with them. And the great American author James Baldwin said that when a man does not have women and money figured out, he cannot think of anything else. But when a man has women and money figured out, he can then think of other things. So it was a stage in my life that I had to go through. I moved down to Miami, Florida, and I had no shortage of women. My business took off. I learned how to essentially give women what they want, or tell women what they want, in a way that was very effective. And I can now honestly tell you, it's really the farthest thing from my mind. It doesn't mean that I don't still want to go after, attractive women when I see them, but it's not the most important thing to me. And this video is really centered around the idea that when all we if you read the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about in one of the lines that one of the reasons why men don't start. I'm not quoting verbatim, but essentially the point is, men don't really achieve success in their careers until the age of 40, is because we spend an inordinate amount of time going after women. And women, once you figure them out, and they're not very difficult. They're pretty much all the same. Certain cultures tend to be somewhat better, but at the end of the day, a woman is a woman, a man is a man. And although I do believe American women are, tend to be completely abysmal when it comes to a relationship. Foreign women present their own issues as well. So to think that that's going to absolve you of all the issues you're going to have is just sadly not the case. So what we men need to do in order to transcend the primordial desires within ourselves to sleep with as many women as possible is we need to develop ourselves and to develop skills, and more, I would say almost equally, if not more important, is hobbies that we really care about, irrespective of the attention of women. You know, life has, there's so many things that we can do in life that we can put our attention to that will give us far greater yields than just chasing after women. And whether that's getting into playing a musical instrument, or learning some trade, sports, martial arts, something in the arts, writing, traveling, developing new skills, developing new businesses. This is really what we need to focus on. And when we focus, and oddly enough, when we focus on these things, and when these things bear fruits, like a business, we automatically become more attractive to women, assuming that we're taking care of other things as well, such as our physical fitness, our style, our social gravitas, our confidence, our how we conduct ourselves in public with other people, the social circles that we become enmeshed in. Because see, women are not hard to figure out. Women want a guy that other women want to sleep with and that other guys want to be like. And the idea of being a real man is something that, just the word men, is it has become such a pejorative term in this politically correct culture we unfortunately find ourselves in, that a lot of men don't know what that means. Is it going to the gym and becoming shredded, or is it being rich and having a fast car? Is it? I think it's about. I think a man becomes solid when he lives in accordance with how he thinks, with his deepest principles, his deepest desires about who he wants to be, provided that those are predicated upon sound principles. And this is why a man, in my opinion, is required to be well learned and well versed in the schools of philosophy, of history, of psychology, of world affairs, of health, of fitness, of being able to problem solve, And so these past few years, I've engulfed myself in building a business, keeping up with my fitness, martial arts, survival wilderness training, all the things that I wanted to have added on to me. I'm not a master at any of these things, but being back in a place that I used to live for many years, it's a great place to reflect on how far I've come. And I will also say that there's an inherent danger in chasing women the most important endeavor in our lives. Women cost money, they cost time. It's a huge distraction from, I think, more important things in our life. Our health, our wealth, our social, our friends, and just doing the things that we love to do. If you get into the outdoors, you start to just see a forest, and you get excited because hiking and camping and making a fire and hunting and fishing and just all the things that used to be indicative of men are unfortunately, especially in the big cities, becoming a thing of the past. And just being out here in nature, which unfortunately I don't have access to living in a concrete jungle such as South Florida, it really allowed me to think of really taking my life into a different direction. And that is one of more contemplation, self-reflection, and spiritual ascendancy. And in order to do that, women have to take a back seat to that. They have to be put on the back burner. We're always going to be attracted to them. We're always going to want, sex and relations with them, but women really need to be a complement to our life, not the focus of our life. And that's really what this video is about finding things that we like to do that bring us just much more dividend, much more of a yield than, getting laid on the weekends. I had an experience a few weeks ago that really let me know that I have conquered this to a large degree. I had a 23-year-old girl. I'm 34 years old. I had a 23-year-old girl that wanted to come over at midnight and to have sex and sleep over. But I knew I wanted to get up and get to the gym, and really I had a couple appointments for some future client acquisitions. And I knew that if she would have come over, she would have wanted to fuck all night. I wouldn't have gone to bed till 3 a.m, and I wouldn't have got up. I wouldn't have gone to the gym. I would have been underslept. And when I don't get my sleep, I'm not operating at the highest levels that I can. And I need to be operating on my A game every single day. So I've incorporated rules about not going out at all during the week, about really making sure that I hit my goals both in the gym, both financially, working on my organization, making sure that my meals are on point, making sure that I'm getting my reading in. And I've really found that, building solid friendships with other men that will hold you accountable, and that also you can do manly things with, like going out hunting, going out doing the martial arts, doing the survival wilderness training, gun training, combat training, traveling. Like these are the type of friend, building, sharing ideas about business. Like these are the type of relationships that are a lot more important than just some piece of ass that you're gonna, fucking and just hit and run whenever you please. I'm not against that. I'm not saying I don't do that on occasion, but that's not the focal point of my life anymore. And because it's not the focal point of my life anymore, I don't really have the antipathy and the angst that I had against, women and feminism and, just this anti-male climate we find ourselves in. It doesn't mean that I don't hold those beliefs, because it's objective, I believe it's axiomatic. I mean, in terms of the relationships that's been fomented by the mainstream culture that has resulted in this just abysmal relationship between men and women. It's there, but I really don't care, because they're not that important to me anymore. I'm more about traveling, automating my business more so that I can step away from it and not have to be so entangled with it. And about engineering my life so that I have more time to do the things that I like to do, which is hike in the woods, read my books, acquire skills that will eventually lead me to living as off the grid as possible, so that I have the most autonomy over my life. because I value more than anything is what I value is my time to contemplate and to think about life and to think about myself and to think about where I'm going and the deeper mysteries of reality, of existence. So if there's anything that I could say is that really ask yourself what you want to start, what are you interested in? You know, if you've ever had an interest in working on cars, like focus on that. If you've ever had an interest in being a better writer, focus on that. Or learning how to box or archery or gun, you know, anything, it doesn't matter, farming, traveling, learning about other cultures, whatever it is that you find to be interesting and that you have a curiosity towards. That's something I think really should take precedence over just because you know what you'll find is that after you fuck these girls, you tend to not want to have anything to do with them. You tend to find that most women these days are the more partners they've had, the older they are. Now that I'm in my 30s, is that they've got a lot of baggage. You know, and you end up having to deal, and if you stay with these type of women, and most girls that will just let you hit and run are fucked up. If you stay with these type of women, they'll bring you down. You'll become entangled with their bullshit, and that's something that you just really don't want to invest your time in. You want to invest your time in developing yourself. And if you want to get married, or if you want a committed relationship, you want to make sure that you're don't become jaded and think that all women are bitches and whores, because even though most of them are, most guys are fucking assholes too, if we're going to be honest. So if you want to find a quality woman, you need to be a man that's done the work on himself. You figure out the financial thing, you figure out the fitness thing, you figure out you got a good group of friends, you're doing activities that you like if you're into motorcycles, you should be in a motorcycle club. You should be hanging around people that are into motorcycles. If you're into, to boxing, you should be going to a boxing gym and hanging out with other guys that are into boxing. If you're into fucking, whatever it is, if you're into poker, you should be playing poker. Do things that you like to do. And then when you're on a date with a woman, you'll actually have things to talk about, because women are attracted to men who are passionate about their lives. They want to be a compliment to a guy who has an interesting life, not a guy who's just going to work, coming home and watching YouTube and going to sleep. That's not exactly an interesting life, guys. So if that's your life, you really need to take a look at that before and maybe put chasing pussy on the back burner. Because I can tell you, I lived a life for a long time where I was working 60 hours a week at my business. I was making good money, and then I would go out and fuck these slutty girls, and it was not a happy life. The sex was good, it fed my ego, but at the end of the day, it didn't provide me what I thought it was going to provide me. And so it's important to really think about what we want our lives to be about. And that's my greatest advice for everybody. I hope you found value in this video, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks.